Next, we look into reporting defects and defect reporting tools. If we look into what is testing, we can see that finding defects is a large part of testing. If we look into the ISTQB school of testing and how the ISTQB sees testing, they define it as to determine that software satisfied specified requirements, to demonstrate that software is fit for purpose, and to detect defects. Testing, according to the so-called context-driven school of testing, states that testing is an investigation conducted to provide stakeholders with information about the quality of the product or service under test. If we consider this figure already shown in the previous lecture, we can see that only when you do high quality testing can you distinct between high quality and low quality product. And the difference between a low quality and high quality product would be that in high quality product you typically have few defects, whereas in low quality product you typically have many defects. Obviously, one cannot state that defect count alone would be a good quality measure and would be the sole determination whether product is good or bad. This is because defects have different impacts and different severities. For example, like seen in the Ariane 5 rocket crash presented in the first lecture, it only takes one defect to destroy a rocket and its payload. So in fact, it can be that just a single defect makes your product low quality if it makes the software unfit for its purpose and causes massive damage. So from that viewpoint, the defect measure count alone is not the good. You must also look into the quality and the seriousness of the defects. Here are a few notes on how to report defects. They come from a book by Kem Carner, James Bach and Brett Petticord, Lessons Learned in Software Testing, a Context-Driven Approach. And these are so-called bug advocacy lessons. So what is this advocacy? I looked it up from Wikipedia. So according to Wikipedia, advocacy is an activity by an individual or a group that aims to influence decisions within political, economic, and social institutions. So put it in the context of software testing and defect reporting, the institution would be a software development organization of any kind. And the advocacy that this software testing group or software testing individuals try to influence is that the software would be of high quality and that the correct bugs would be fixed before the software is released to the customer. And in this context of making the software high quality and trying to get the correct bug fixed, these advices are given. So number 59 on the screen. Take the time to make your bug reports valuable. This success that bug reporting is not something that you must do quickly and hastily just to move on to the next task, but you should pay effort in reporting the bug so that it is understandable and it actually gets fixed. Point 62. Report perceived quality gaps as bugs. So if there is something in the software that might not be strictly defined as a bug, but it is a quality problem anyway, then one should report it as bug to ensure it will be fixed and to ensure that it is not forgotten, as this quality gap in the software might might be really serious for the customer and might benefit. 67, report defects promptly. This simply means that you should do the defect report as soon as you find the defect in the software. Point 68, never assume that an obvious bug has already been filed. What is defect reporting? The defect reporting is simply the act of reporting defects to some centralized system or sending them via email or by other means. So in the figure, there is a software tester who is a very, very happy looking chap over here, and he is testing the software stored in these ancient floppy disks, and he finds a bug. So he reports this defect as a defect report. And then next, software developer looks into the defect report that the software developer gets from defect reporting database or by email or by other means. And if the defect reporting is not of high quality, then the developer may ask more information, then there would be a response from the tester. If the developer is still not satisfied with the report, then there would be extra communication going around here. Obviously, all this extra communication and this extra hassle could be avoided had the tester filed good enough defect report so that the developer could fix it straight away. So that is why defect reporting quality matters. The reason why the quality of the defect reports can fluctuate is that the defect reporters are not necessarily just testers or just programmers. They could be a very diverse group. Defect reports could come from different sources. For example, sales representatives would be very busy and only report that, in a defect report, it would only say that the version is current and do not give even the module where the defect exists. Customers, on the other hand, might be giving a bit more information. They could state that it is a graphical user interface defect in the version 11, and testers, the one that is a very happy guy, could report the same defect by stating that it's on the draw graphical user interface module and it's version 11.3. So the defect reporting database could have several reports of the same defect with different levels of quality. Or the defect reporting database could have just one report of a particular defect and it could be very low quality, like this defect report over here. And here are some actual numbers of the defect reporters from a study from 8 years ago, where 5,000 defect reports were looked into and the reporter's role in the organization was studied. In those organizations, it was found that only roughly 10% of the defects in the defect reporting database were reported by specialized testers. Various other groups were present. For example, sales and consulting had 7%, support people had 7%, managers had roughly 15%. Typically, this would not be high up managers, but like project managers for software development projects. Then there was a people called internal MISC that couldn't really be categorized to any of the previously mentioned groups. And then there were developers who reported roughly 17% of the defects. And finally, defect reports originating from the customers represented 20% of the defect. So as can be seen, defect reporting is done by different types of people, resulting in defect quality of defect reports. And it also means that the defect reporting system should be easy to use for all these different groups. So typically these bugs, defects or issues are reported to different types of defect trackers. And the reporting is typically done by filling out the field that collects information about the defect. You enter the defect title, you enter the description, you maybe enter the actual results and expected result, maybe add some screenshots and so on. And then you report it to, you know, maybe to Jira or maybe to Bugzilla. And in Wikipedia there is an actual page of comparison of issue tracking systems. And we can see that there is no shortage of issue tracking systems. We can see Apache Bloodhound, we can see the previously mentioned Bugzilla, that's one of the oldest systems that is still available, launched at 1998. We can see Jira, launched in 2002. I think this is one of the most popular systems still. And there is a pretty long list here. We can see even some older system like SupportWorks from 94, TestTrack 96, and so on. And there is even a feature comparison of what different features are available, you know, test planning integration, service level agreements, plugging APIs, and so on.